welcome back everybody to this week's this trimester's Galactic Review. This time we are going to be discussing Dungeons and Dragons. I don't remember the tagline.
Honor Among Thieves.
Honor Among Thieves. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Dungeons and Drunks. Yeah, this movie had a decent cast. Chris Pine headlining it. One of the bigger attractors to the movie, but also the massive, I guess, popularization of D&D. This is not their first time foraying into the movie industry, but the first time I think they have done so successfully. It wasn't a box office hit, but at least it wasn't what they had put out in the past. And so yeah, this movie follows a bard and his party, as essentially he tries to rescue his daughter from a former party member um gone rogue or whatever. Basically his life just got upended and they're trying to win the day. This is just a regular D&D quest. There's dragon, there's fighting, there's magic, there's character growth, there's lack of self-confidence, the average D&D game. I will be brief with my review, and then we can discuss more. I thought it was okay. Like it was okay. It has some D&D flaws that I'm like, oh, they could have portrayed this better. They didn't need to make certain decisions that they did, but overall, I thought it was I laughed a decent amount. Um, I thought the story was good. I thought it was a good portrayal of both the serious what a D&D campaign could be and the hilarity of what a D&D campaign could be. And I think it was overall decently well done. A solid average 6.
I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. Did not watch this movie. I watched the wrong movie. Was not paying attention,
Well, then what
and
did you watch?
I watched Dungeons and Dragons, but not the right one.
What do you think about that one, Zach?
Well, I thought it was great. No, just kidding. I did watch the correct one. I'm not that much of a fool. Yeah, no, as Andrew said, it was very much just a casual, just a casual D&D session, pretty much. I thought it was quite humorous, and yeah, it just felt very much just like playing the game, just watching it all unfold. Um, I didn't really have any problems with the movie. Um, it was just a kind of laid back, relaxing movie that you can kind of just turn off your brain and just zone out and just chill. And with that, I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It was just kind of relaxing, peaceful movie that had a decent story.
I
Was quite
apologize. I got
funny.
a text. Are you still talking about the one you saw or the one you're
And
supposed to see?
which one do you think?
Did you ever go back and watch the correct one?
Oh no, I watched the correct one to begin with.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, no. I contemplated watching the wrong one, but I didn't. Uh, no, all in all, I thought it was pretty decent. Yeah, just a nice, relaxing, chill movie that had a pretty good story, good character development, a lot of self-confidence boosting throughout the movie for some characters, a lot of character growth. Um, so yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part.
I thought it was all right. I just thought it was all right. Didn't really think it was horrible. Didn't think it was great. Just thought it was all right. Very mid-tier sort of movie. I don't know how bad their other D&D movies must have been for this one to be the best one that they did, but okay. There were some things I think could have been done differently, but also I'm not very much D&D, so this very well could have been like something that would have happened in a regular D&D game or a regular sort of crafting of a D&D game in D&D world. So I don't know. Yeah, overall, I thought it was all right. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. I didn't think it was great. Just didn't think it was horrible.
Yeah, I think it's a solid 6. All right. Do you guys have any gripes with their the way they changed the details they changed? I'm sure I will not pick out all of them. I am not a D&D expert.
One thing I enjoyed, but you can't really do, uh, unless you're extremely high level, and even with that, I think it's a little difficult, is the shape shifting or the
Wild shape.
wild shape, switching constantly between everything so quickly and rapidly. It fit for the movie. I enjoyed it, but 100% you can't do
I thought that
that.
was just a feature of a druid or certain races.
Yes, but you can only do, I think it has like a limit. You can only do it like 3 times. I think depending on what path you choose, you can do it more.
So yeah,
But
I guess
it does have a cooldown, like you have to take a long rest and everything. Because it is a magic spell slot
yeah.
technically.
So I guess there's two categories that I would put the discrepancies into. I guess like the hard rules of D&D, which translate a magic fantasy world into a board game. And then like the lore based faults. Um,
Yeah,
so a lot of the things that I wish I had seen more were like, as a bard, you have some form of magical abilities. You're able to give people like magical inspiration or help heal them, like very low level. That's something just bards can do with their musical ability. And they didn't really show that. They kind of
and
hinted at it.
well, yeah, they hint about it. Also, they do have a mild form of combat training. It might not be
I
extensive
mean, they
like
showed
a
that at the end, which I thought was hilarious.
yeah, at the very end, but I'm like, still, they can use a little bit of magic, and they do have proficiency, as small as it is, in light weapons.
Yeah, so like the only thing that I like, inspiration is a big like bard thing. So the only time where I kind of like really saw that kind of happen was right after they're about to get beheaded, and he was like, "Now we're doing this," I guess. And in the same vein, um, kind of Holga or whatever her name is, Rage. She's a barbarian. Rage is a major feat of barbarian characters, and we only kind of see that when she's in the quicksand and she's like, "Rah," and then nothing happens. Um,
The only other time you kind of get to see it is when she's fighting to enter or for them to get to the safe.
I thought a great spot for what would have been is when she was like pinned by like three guys, and instead of grabbing the bow and doing that, just like screaming and shoving them all off. That would have been
Yeah.
great.
However, using the bow like that was I mean, it's always fun to see in any movie because you just don't see a bow used like that often.
Otherwise, I thought it was decently funny. Um, it was a average kind of like just generic fantasy movie. The only if this wasn't a D&D movie, it would be lower ranked. If this was just a run of the mill fantasy movie, it wouldn't have much going for it. What makes it what people were attracted to it were like, oh, this is D&D. And seeing their board game portrayed. If this was just somebody, if they did the exact same thing but didn't attach it to D&D, it'd be like, this is just kind
Well,
of
I think the biggest reason for that is if they just did a fantasy version of this and didn't make it titled D&D, um, some of the way the characters act just don't fit. For D&D, that worked for some of the characters based on whatever their intelligence roll
he,
and everything.
he
They
should
really
have
role played into
tried
that.
to seduce the dragon.
But
That is a bard stereotype. Even one word
it is,
should even like one sentence.
but I mean, it was a rather large dragon.
The bigger the better.
When the dragon came out, I was like, is that a dragon or is that I mean, he did have the quip, which I thought was very funny. Did he eat the other dragon?
Yeah.
I forgot about that one. Oh, that was so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was hilarious. I forgot about
I
that.
mean, for a bard, he did have good quips. They might not have been funny, but they were well timed, well presented, just like a bard would do.
He did portray the main traits of a bard, which is cleverness and wit. They're not
Yes.
proficient. They really don't. They're musicians, and so they're jesters almost. So it was cool to see how he portrayed it. Oh, what else? I feel like I had something. Oh, I really liked the bit with the dead guys. It did get dragged on, but I did like it because that is exactly something that would happen. At least the first one.
100%. That is definitely something that would happen and has happened to me before. Um, it it is fun. It is but it 100% is a genuine thing that does happen, which made me laugh so
However,
much.
however, when they left the guy alive, I went, put him in the after credits. And then the after credits came.
Wait, what were the after credits?
It was literally just the guy, the dead guy being like, guys, like it was just him panning back to him. It was
Just
great. I
waiting.
can't believe I called it.
Hey, look, it's got to be predictable some ways.
I made a complete joke about it. I didn't think it was gonna happen.
I mean, 100%, because I mean, not that many movies do it, and usually the movies that do that are a lot bigger budgets, have a lot more going for them.
I don't know. I think it's now trendy to
Well, yeah, no, fair enough. It has become more of a trendy thing since
like Mario had
Marvel. Yeah, I have heard that. I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard that it um has some afterwards. I will say the only other thing um were like some of the spells. I kind of wish like because I've never really played that much of a sorcerer or warlock or anything like that, so I'm not 100% sure how some of them work and like what the requirements you have to meet to be able to use them. But what was the device on his hip?
that was super cool. So that was a oh, it was like a materials bag essentially.
Oh, that's what that was? The
Yeah,
what is it? I know what you're talking about.
but
Yeah.
it was super clever because I always like was frustrated with like the basic mechanic of having like a bag that you have to like ruffle through to like grab your supplies. And I think that was just a super creative way to make that.
Because some of the spells you have to pull materials out to be able to cast it and everything. And I was wondering like how exactly would okay, I didn't realize that's what that okay, that makes a lot more sense. That's a nice detail they added.
Yeah, that's something that I would try to make if I ever played another spellcaster.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do for my next
However, as a DM, if my
campaign.
player had that, I would have them roll um and based on the scenario, advantage or disadvantage. So like if they're like super high adrenaline,
Well, I think honestly, I mean that's how that character was as well. Because it mixed in with a lot of wild magic.
yeah, to see if they grab the right material, and then they'd have to roll to see if it has a good effect
Yeah,
or bad effect.
yeah. I think that was very good. I think their use of wild magic worked. Um, kind of wished a little bit that we got to see a little bit more of wild magic, especially in some of the extremes that it can do. That would have been very interesting, but that's fine.
Yeah. So overall, it was okay. It had funny moments. It just wasn't riveting. There wasn't anything that was too out of the blue. The things that were most out of the blue were like the jokes, um, the fat dragon, stuff like that. um, but it was decently predictable, albeit predictably entertaining for the most part. Even though it did get cheesy at times. just kind of like your average run-of-the-mill fantasy movie. That copy and paste what a lot of fantasy have done before, and it's nothing groundbreaking with any aspect of the movie itself.
100%. And I felt like, at least for me, I could understand a lot of these characters more because I've played the game, and I'm like, I can 100% understand where this character is going and coming from and what they're doing, which was
Something that I thought would
actually
have been cool
terrible.
is if at the end it like or the after credits kind of like zoomed out and it showed that it was just the actors playing their characters the whole time and it showed like the ending of their session. That'd have been
Yeah,
cool.
that would have been really like the whole thing was just them role playing pretty much. That would have been cool. I kind of thought of that a few times while I was watching it, but it didn't happen.
However, I will say that dude who married the giant lady, brother, understand him.
In which way? Just out of curiosity.
Thick thighs save lives. Uppies.
I got you. I got you.
I haven't gotten a single laugh from Payson this whole time. I'm trying real hard.
Zach got one earlier.
You laughed at me?
Yeah, at you. Yeah,
At which part? I wasn't looking.
just at you in general. But
Oh,
we're
okay. Well, I that's not that difficult to make happen. I'm
no,
just
no,
gonna
it's
be
not.
perfectly honest.
No, it's not. Not when you look like that claymation rooster. It kind of just adds to the ambiance there. But
From what is it? Chicken
chicken run,
Run?
I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say. I'm not a. My criticisms were weak and more so that the fact that that wasn't my type of movie. So
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I get you. I
I
think
think
the
I
only
think it's
reason.
a good movie that when you and the missus want to go out on a dinner date, that you put on for the kids to keep them entertained.
Oh, yes, I was about to say if
Get
that's the
one
movie
movie
you're.
with the babysitter, and then you bring this home from Redbox.
I was gonna say if that's the movie you're choosing to take your partner to watch while you're out on a date, then I'm sorry, but you're not keeping that partner much longer.
that might be why you're still single. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't take my partner to go watch that. At least not at first.
Well, yeah, because don't you have to find one first?
Look, this is a safe space.
You skipped a couple steps.
Oh yeah, yeah. First you have to get rid of that what is that? That pesky
What are you gonna call it?
the pesky warrant thing that keeps you away from 20 feet from her. So
Restraining order?
Restraining order.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I should have just looked at the one that I have. But
Hmm. All right. I'm gonna be leaving now.
It's my move.
but I've been over to your place. I know you have one as well. Jeez.
Yeah, I've got like five here. You want me to take your? I actually have them on my wall.
I know it's all
In
framed like
frames.
Guinness World Record.
Yes.
Just
Yes. I'm collecting them slowly.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew's got one. It's behind his poster. That was a restraining order for Miss Piggy. All right.
All right. Thank you all for sticking with us. Hope we didn't, harm you guys mentally in any way through this speech. Join us next week as we watch or review what we watched for John Wick Part 4. And we'll probably go over a little bit of 1 through 3. Just a little bit, just to
I
get
watched
caught up
one
with
for the
4.
first time like last week, so I'm gonna watch two tonight.
Nice. Nice. 2 is a bit slower, but that's about it. All right. So we'll see you guys next week.